What's up, everybody? It's your girl, DJ JoJo, and I'm back with another episode of Harlem State of Mind podcast. I'm at Angel of Harlem, where culture, food, and community intersect, and I have a very, very special guest with me. She is doing dope, amazing things that I can't wait to get into with her. Kendra Monet, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Thank you for giving us some of your time today.
Of course.
So for the small amount of people that may not know who you are or what you do, please just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do.
Yes, so I'm a filmmaker from Harlem, and I went to NYU Film School, which is where I got my start with filmmaking. And so while I was in film school, my short films went to different film festivals and also won awards as well. So I have a documentary called Pulling the Evidence That Remains, which is on Apple TV. And then I've also accomplished my short film Attached, which I just finished production last year. Mm-hmm. And we're currently on a festival run for it. So far, we've been up to 25 plus film festivals.
Wow.
Yeah. And then we've also been interviewed by Amsterdam News and then like other news outlets about our film.
Congratulations. That is so dope. You said 25 film festivals?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's insane. Like, congratulations. That's amazing. Did you see it becoming this successful when you started the short film? Like, did you have the vision of, this is going to go to 25 plus film festivals and like circulate everywhere? Or was it kind of just like, I'm putting this out and the receival of it was just like the best thing that happened?
Yeah, so I think in my mind, I'm always like, before I'm entering a project, I'm just really like in the process of it. Just like trying to complete the film is like number one, especially since this was my first time doing an independent film outside of school. So it was a lot to prove to myself and also my way of getting back into filmmaking. So I started this whole process with my short film Attached in 2023. When I met my co-writing and directing partner. We met in like a writing group. And then from there, our idea transformed into what became Attached. So it started off as like a TV pilot, sort of like Insecure.
Okay, that's dope.
For people like in our 20s and navigating friendships and life. But then like it really evolved into a short film because we thought it would be easier to make a short film. And then in 2024, we made like a teaser to like the world of Attached, which introduced it as this psychological thriller about a young woman who's a struggling actress, and you see like she's cleaning up blood in the bathroom and you're like, wait, what did she do? Like, what happened? Did she kill someone? And so kind of like an introduction to the world of it. And then we crowdfunded in 2025, and then we went into production in July of 2025. So it's been like a journey consistently since 2023. So I think the whole time I was just like focused on the process, focused on getting it done. And every stage there was something new, something next to like have to do. And so like now I think now that we're in 2026, it's been amazing to see like how it's really grown, how people are responding to it at different festivals, and just seeing like it kind of take a life of its own with the interest that people have in the film.
That is so dope. And like, I love what you said about it being something like you want to prove to yourself.
Yeah.
I think that that's like so important as a creative. It's like not necessarily looking for the approval of like prioritizing the approval of others, but like proving it to yourself to begin with, because it's your work. So I think that mentality that you had with it is beautiful, and that's part of the reason why it's become so successful. I love also how you show that it's been a process, you know, like it started back in 2023. And I think for people that aren't in film, like me per se, I wouldn't know that. Like I would think, oh, did you make this film like a couple months ago? Like, but it's like, no, Rome wasn't built in a day. Like you created this amazing, successful thing, and it takes time. And so I think that's so beautiful, and congratulations. What does it feel like now that you're like enjoying the fruits of your labor with this short film?
Yeah, it feels surreal. Like it doesn't feel like it's really like actually happening, but then like you have moments where like it kind of reminds you that no, this is real, like when you go to like different festivals. So like in June we had our premiere at the Brooklyn Film Festival, and then
Mm-hmm.
immediately after we had like screenings in DC, Maryland, and Virginia. And so it was really amazing to like physically be there, and like that's when it kind of hit me that oh no, like you really did this, and this is like what it all has come to, and still more to come, as well as we like continue our festival run. And then also too, it's been amazing like in interviews people talking about Attached and asking me about it, but also telling me like how wow, like this film really speaks to like the fears and anxieties that like people face,
Mm-hmm.
especially in today's society, and all the different realities that the film kind of deals with. And so it's really amazing to know that like what you intended pays off, and that people see the vision behind it, and people also get what you intended for it to be.
I love that. And that brings me to my next
Mm-hmm.
question, because I was going to ask you, like, what have been some of the responses that you've heard from people that have watched Attached? Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like what have been some of like your favorite commentary back about
Yeah.
your film?
Yeah, for sure. This has become kind of a tagline because we did like a teaser in 2024, and then we put it on social media, and so we got a lot of comments about it. And so one of the comments was, "Oh, Black women deserve thrillers too,"
Mm-hmm.
and that was like
Period.
that has become yeah a hashtag for us throughout our film campaign. And then just people talking about how they can see themselves in the main character
Mm-hmm.
Drea, who's a struggling actress, and like we see her deal with like past relationship issues, and then also like her current reality of like trying to move past that relationship that kind of defined her. And then also with her own acting career we see like her face rejection. And so a lot of people have responded to those themes and have said like that they can identify with this
Mm-hmm.
idea of how a lot of people are putting on a mask, you know, pretending like they're
Mm-hmm.
fine, but then in actuality, like what's going on emotionally and mentally and behind closed doors. And so a lot of people have really responded to that. And then also in the film, Drea has a best friend named Naya, who's like her support system. And so a lot of people have responded to really connecting with the best friend character, and like
Mm-hmm.
in their own lives that like support of like two women who are best friends.
Mm.
Mm.
I could definitely see that. I could see myself relating to Drea,
Mm.
and I could see me and my best friends relating to that as
Yeah,
well. Shout
yeah.
out to you, Em. But did you base either of the characters off yourself or like your own feelings?
Yeah, I think I always like subconsciously write characters who are very connected to me in different ways. So Drea being an artist, I'm not an actress, but being an
Mm.
artist and facing rejection was very relatable to me. So since like graduating from film school, I've been working like in publicity at a film studio. And so I haven't had the chance to really go back into filmmaking since
Mm.
like graduating. And so it's been like years of a break since then. And so I really identify with Drea's character in terms of like trying to get back to feeling like yourself, and
Mm.
kind of feeling lost in that of
Mm.
not being productive. And a lot of people that I know also relate to that as well, especially creatives. And then I can also relate to that best friend character as well, because I have people in my life who are really supportive and can know like when something is wrong or when I'm not like quite myself. And so that was very important for me to like convey that in the story as well.
Mm. And yeah, I could see how that can be
Mm.
super relatable, because I definitely have
Mm.
experienced that feeling before,
Mm.
just feeling lost, deflated, defeated,
Right.
burnt out, and like then feeling like I'm also not doing enough, and I'm just
Exactly.
like losing time,
Mm-hmm.
and then also always getting scared because time is of the essence. So
For sure.
I understand that feeling, and I feel like, would you, how do you personally cope with that feeling?
I think for me, I've really coped with it by just doing the thing that I might be afraid of. So like with this film Attached, since it was my first time doing something independently and like having to crowdfund for it and having to like go through all of these phases before we even got to filming, that was like something that I would say I was afraid of embarking, was like what would be my next film, what would be my next project. And so I would say that I just kind of jumped into it, and then also had like a writing and directing partner as well. And that was a huge support system, having someone like go through the process with you. And so I think it's finding out what you're afraid of and doing it in a way where it works for you, where you don't feel like, okay, I'm going to be alone doing this, but like finding your support and finding people that really support your vision and will support you no matter what, I think has helped me face that. And with Attached, just really going through it and not like thinking about, okay, what if this goes wrong? But you're allowed to think about like, what if this goes wrong and what if this happens? Because things do go wrong in life. But at the end of the day, it's how you pick yourself back up. And really at the end, you're able to say, wow, I went through all of this to then come to this point where I've completed the project and did the very thing that I was kind of afraid of embarking on.
I love that. Yeah. So I know you've been dropping like pieces, but without giving away any spoilers, can you just give me a little bit for the people that haven't watched, that want to watch? Just give me a little bit of what the plot is.
Yes. So Attached is a psychological thriller film about a struggling actress named Drea. She's experiencing a past relationship that continues to haunt her and show up in her everyday life. And then we see how she's forced to really make a decision about her life and choose how she wants to move forward.
That's dope. And I feel like that's also relatable, because I feel like past relationships can really haunt you. I've been there. So, have you ever been haunted by a past relationship?
I've never been haunted by a past relationship, but I have like had to move forward from one and think about, okay, like how can I try to make myself busy, and how can I like just focus on myself and figure out like what does self-care look like for myself, and also to what it looks like to let go, because I think letting go from a relationship looks different from everyone. So like some people might want to just like get rid of everything, and that's how they move on. And then in the film, we see like Drea has kept a lot of sentimental things from that previous relationship in her closet. And she refuses to like look inside of it until like the film kind of forces her to really like go inside that box and look inside like all the pictures that she still has from that old relationship, you know, a ring that she still has from that relationship. So I think letting go looks different until she finally decides, what do I do with this box? You know, it's been 2 years. What am I going to do with it? So I think like letting go looks different for everyone. Some people can deal with like seeing those memories. Some people can't. And it's obvious for Drea, like that's something that's clearly preventing her from moving on, is still having everything.
What do you think about like the current age of dating and relationships?
It's a mess.
Okay, yeah, I agree. Why though? Like, I don't know. Like, do you think it's like gender dynamics? Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like maybe like social media plays a part 100%. As well. Like,
yeah, I feel like social media plays a huge role. I think social media has just created like unrealistic expectations.
100%.
And then also too, like people feeling like, okay, like, yes, we all have options, but like sometimes if you meet someone right in front of you who's everything that you know that you want, like why then mess this up and go somewhere else? Like it doesn't make any sense. Why sabotage it? So I think there's a lot of self-sabotaging and like overthinking situations because of like that whole social media aspect that we have.
I think you just like phrased it the most perfect way. I agree with you 100%. It's all a lot of self-sabotage. And I've even sabotaged myself in a couple instances, but that's okay. So let's get into some of your other work, because I think we've got people hooked on Attached now. So you were telling me off camera that you also had another film that focused on mental health.
Yes.
What is that, and what's that about?
Yes, so I did this documentary when I was in college for a class. And so the documentary is called Pulling the Evidence That Remains. It's a short documentary. It's about Miss Veronica Carter. She lives in the Bronx, and she grew up in the Bronx. And it's about a lot of her struggles with mental health. And she's someone that I actually met through another film student, and me and her like were really close and like would talk on the phone all the time. And so during that process I decided to like make my class project about her and her life. And she's fostered children, and so a lot of the documentary focuses on her mental health struggles, but also too how she's given back to her community in spite of that.
Mm.
And so that documentary got into a festival called the Changing Minds Young Filmmaker Festival when I was in college. And so they had called me last year because they were going to do like an Apple TV special with like a compilation of all of their like best films that they've had. And so I have that on Apple TV, as well as like an interview with John Turturro talking about mental health and like the impact of the film.
That is so dope, and congratulations. And I love spotlights on mental health because it's so important.
Definitely.
To spotlight it. And I think that we are moving forward with like recognizing mental health finally in 2026. So congratulations. Like that's so amazing. You said you went to NYU Film School, right? That's a very prestigious film school. Like that's so dope. Like how did you get in? Like, because I know a lot of people that have wanted to get into NYU film that didn't. So that's so amazing.
Yeah, so when I was in high school, I was like a junior in high school, and I applied for this program at the Mesos Documentary Center where they were looking for just like 6-week fellows during the summer to create films. And so I had no idea like what filmmaking was or like anything related to like how to even make a film or what it would be. And so during that 6-week program, I had partnered with someone and we made a short documentary film because her family was involved in like preserving mixtapes and like knew a lot of DJs. And so we made like a short documentary.
I need
about
that. Yeah.
And so during that experience, it was really eye-opening, like learning cinematography, learning editing, and just learning like how to tell a story. And so then I was invited to like the longer program to make a short documentary, and that documentary was just about like my friends in high school and like how they were tackling like the college process and like their personal lives. And so I realized that filmmaking could be used as a tool to like tell stories about the people around me and the people who are in my community. And so from there, that's how I applied to NYU.
Wow. Well, I keep saying congratulations, but congratulations. That's so dope. What do you think are the hardest parts about filmmaking and telling a story?
Yeah, I think the hardest thing, well, what I realized with Attached is that the hardest thing is really funding and the money to making a film, because, you know, filmmaking is so expensive. And there are like grants out there and resources, but there's really not enough, especially to support like Black filmmakers. So I just feel like there's not enough like resources and funding for people to even like create the stories that they want. And also I feel like, especially with independent films, there's not enough spotlight really on filmmakers who are just making their independent shorts in their communities. You know, there's no real, except for like film festivals, there's no real like way to really bridge that gap between like those short films becoming more in the mainstream and people knowing like who different filmmakers are and who different creators are. I think that's probably the same across like other different like creative disciplines, where there's needs to be just more spotlight put on people who are just locally creating.
Yeah, and so that's good to know, because y'all listening, we need to start crowdfunding something, because like we need these stories to be told. Sure. It's important, and y'all are the ones that are going to tell the stories. So definitely. How do you feel your upbringing in Harlem has shaped you as a filmmaker?
Yeah, I feel like my upbringing in Harlem is the reason why I'm a filmmaker. You know, I spoke about the Maisels Documentary Center, which is in
Mm-hmm.
Harlem, which is how I even knew what filmmaking was. And then also, too, just growing up in Harlem, I grew up as an only child.
Mm-hmm.
And so my parents like made sure to teach me about like the history around me. You know, growing up, learning about the different artists that lived in Harlem, learning about the Harlem Renaissance, and just learning about all the people that like came before me, and you know the struggles that they experienced. So it's like, you know, to have this opportunity to want to create and live out my dreams, it's like, okay, like I should be going for this, you know,
Mm-hmm.
knowing the history that we come from and the struggles that people faced before us. So I think that growing up in Harlem, it's amazing to be reminded of that history everywhere you go, and then also too to just maintain that inspiration.
That's dope. And I can tell that you're just a powerhouse individual. So I'm
Thank
like
you.
so tuned into what you got going on. Um, as a filmmaker, what are your favorite films?
Yeah, so my favorite film always is Moonlight by Barry
Okay.
Jenkins.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that like really made me think about how films were made.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of like older favorite films as well. Carrie is like one of my favorite.
Yeah, that one. Which one though? Because
The
isn't there like
original.
okay?
Yeah.
I don't know if I've seen the original. I didn't see the original. I saw the
Yeah.
one with the I don't know her name, but the newer one.
Yeah, there's so many. There's
There,
been so many. Yeah.
yeah. I feel like they need to make a black Carrie if they
Yeah.
haven't yet. That would be dope.
Yeah, for sure. I think I grew up watching like a lot of like horror and psychological thriller films, like even when I was too young to really like, okay, like know what was going on, but it was so exciting to me
Mm-hmm.
to see like how those universes were explored. Um, and then there's another film called A Woman Under the Influence, which really like was an inspiration for Attached. It's directed by John Cassavetes. It's an independent film, and it's about mental health and like from a woman's perspective. And so that film was also like really impactful for me.
That's dope. What's the name of it again?
A Woman Under the
A
Influence.
Woman Under the Influence. I need to check that out. I
Yeah.
love psychological
Yeah,
thrillers.
yeah,
Like,
for sure.
I don't know. I feel like my attention span is really short. So I
Yeah.
like things that keep me like
Right.
on my
Yeah.
toes or like
Sure.
interested. Like sometimes like the rom-coms don't do it for me because I'm like
Yeah.
I'm kind of bored. Like, but something that keeps me on my toes. Yeah. I just watched this like new film on Netflix last night. I forget what it is, but it's like it's a thriller and it's like they're all like locked in their homes and they can't get out and it's like this alien invasion. I was like really into it. But I'm going off on a tangent. How but I guess with that in mind, how do you stray from being boring in making a film?
Yeah. I think for me, straying from being boring, I always have ideas. And I'm always like watching other films and also getting feedback for my own work. So, like with Attached, when we wrote the script, getting feedback from other people to see like what their thoughts were. And like I said before with Attached, it really started off like very closely similar to Insecure. It wasn't a psychological thriller in the beginning, and someone had given the advice that, oh, like it seems like you want this to go in a different direction, but it seems like you're kind of constrained by like the current genre or the current like format that you're in. So like why not like try something else, try something different. And so that helped me like with really pushing Attached in a different direction. So I would say like constantly being tapped into listening to feedback and hearing what other people have to say about your work. You know, I always try to be open to that, even though sometimes it can be difficult, like really like detaching yourself from the project
Yeah, that
and
must
hearing
be
other
hard.
opinions. But like you also have to think of it as, okay, like this person like wants the project to be better, and you know, I wouldn't want to waste my time and resources making something that is not going to work.
Right.
You know, so trying to do that like in the beginning like really helped me with that.
Yeah, and that's smart. And I feel like that's the case with anything.
Yeah.
Like I get into it with Alberto sometimes because I'm like, oh no, I think it should be this way. But it's like, no, I have to listen sometimes to like the feedback because it's like at the end of the day, people are going to be watching it. Yeah, this is somebody watching it. So it's like the feedback is important and it's something to keep in mind. So I love that. Well, I don't want to keep you all day, but I'm like just so amazed by you. You seem so dope. You are so dope. And I'm just like, can't wait to tune into everything that you have going on. Do you have any other film festivals coming up? Any way that we can watch Attached? Is there anything else coming up in New York or anywhere else in the country or world?
Yeah, so we do have another film festival coming up with the Hip Hop Film Festival.
Okay, that's dope.
I know they started in Harlem, but now they're in Dobbs Ferry. And so we have a screening on Thursday, August 20th at 6 p.m.
Oh, I'm there. I'm going. Send it to me.
Yeah, so it's at Look Dine-In Cinemas in Dobbs Ferry, which is only like 30 minutes from the city. Yeah.
Look Cinemas is fire too. I've been there before. I actually saw, you know what I saw at Look Cinemas? Was Sinners. Oh, and it was really good.
I love Sinners.
Yeah, that was fire movie. Dope movie. Michael B. Jordan is like the best actor ever.
And one best actor.
Right. But, okay, so Thursday, August 20th.
Yes.
And then are there any other film showings happening? Like, it doesn't have to be in New York, but like across the country?
Yeah, so in September, we're going to have a screening at the Richmond International Film Festival in Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah. And so right now we're gearing up for the fall because we have a lot of like festivals that we're like waiting to hear back from. So hopefully we'll have plenty more screenings, and we definitely plan on having like additional screenings in New York City.
I bet you will. That's amazing. Well, we'll definitely be tuned in. Give the people your socials, any websites that you want to share, any way that they can follow you, your films, and everything that you have going on.
Yes, so my Instagram is at the Kendra Monet, and then my film page is attachedfilm_, and then my website is just thekendramonet.com.
Okay, y'all, tap in. Yo, why wouldn't you? Good film. Dope individual, period. I can't let you go without playing this little game that we play with everybody on the show. You might have heard it a little bit when we were off camera. But it's fill in the sentence. So I'm going to just say something and you got to fill in the blank. So, being from Harlem, and the fact that, it's August, it's still summer. It's not a Harlem summer without blank.
Without people outside.
Period. That's a fact. Like, just outside. Like, we just be outside.
Just everywhere.
Okay, and you're not from Harlem if you don't have blank in your closet.
Tim's.
Okay. Or the Butters. Period. You have a pair of Tim's?
Yeah.
Do you wear them in the summer?
No. Okay. That's a rule. You don't wear them in the summer. That's how you know someone's not from Harlem.
Period. Stamps from Kendra Monet. Yo, Kendra, so it's been real having you on the podcast today. I appreciate you giving us some of your time. I'm so excited to see your film on Thursday, August 20th at Look Cinemas in Dobbs Ferry. I'm going to be there and I can't wait. And I hope that a lot of the viewers that are watching this are there with me. Yes. But yeah, we're going to have you back. Next time you have another film coming out, make sure to let us know. Y'all follow her on her page. And until next time, this is the Harlem State of Mind podcast. Make sure to like, share, subscribe. I'm DJ JoJo. Keep it real, y'all. Thank you so much. Thank you. This was a great conversation. Yeah, for sure. And I'm like just amazed by it.